Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video. And today we're going to do a quick unboxing of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. Alright, so let's get right into it. First off, let's talk about the price. Now, off contract at Sprint, this phone will run you $700. Off contract at Best Buy, it'll run you $800. So get ready to pay those flagship prices. Next, let's talk about the presentation. Now, everybody knows I like a nice box. Samsung didn't disappoint. This is a nice looking box, nice looking presentation. That wood grain kind of look to it. Has the sleeve on it. Kind of matches all of the other Samsung products, like the Galaxy Note Pro, the Galaxy Gear, the Galaxy Note 3, the Galaxy Gear 2. All got the same nice wood grain look to it. For all y'all box collectors out there. And perfect for putting the phone back in when you're getting ready to sell it. Slide it back in. Phone looks brand new. Now, y'all know I don't really like to talk about specs too much, but since this is an unboxing video, let's read the specs from the back of the box. 4G LTE capable, has an IR blaster, so you get the smart remote, universal remote control. Has a heart rate monitor that you use with S Health. It's running the latest version of Android, KitKat 4.4.2. It has a 5.1 FHD Super AMOLED display, which is definitely beautiful. It's running a 2.5 GHz quad-core processor, 801 Snapdragon chip. Has a 16 megapixel camera in the back, 2 megapixel camera in the front. For video, you got full HD 1920 by 1080, recording and playback. Now, they claim to have 4K video, but everybody knows it's not really 4K, but we'll get into that at another time. So let's pop it open and see what it looks like. You take off the sleeve. Inside, you get the actual phone. Let's open this up. Fellas, ladies, say it with me. Get the usual books and shit. Open this up. You get your USB 3.0 charger, which charges faster than the standard micro USB. You get your wall adapter. And you get a set of headphones. Now, I like it when companies throw the headphones in for free. That's a good look right there. And you also get different size earbuds. Everybody got different ears, so different sizes is always a good look. Now, what I normally like to do is just leave all this stuff in the box, put the book back in, put all this stuff in, and save it like this. So now when I'm ready to sell this Galaxy S5, when the S6 comes out, I just put the phone back in here, put the sleeve back on, and I can sell a phone for top dollar. So that's what it is. Now let's take a look at the actual device. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful build to it. I like the new, aluminum around the side, similar to the S4, similar to the Note 3. You got that Band-Aid back. Leatherish with the perforated on it, little dots. Kind of has a leatherish feeling to it. Let's go over the hardware buttons. You got your power button on the right side. That's it. On the bottom, you got your USB 3.0 / micro USB charging port. Now, if you got short nails like me, this is a little bit of a pain to open up, but you could get it open. Now, shout out to everybody who had the Galaxy Note 2. Y'all remember how I had the little sliding door? I like that a little bit better, but it is what it is. At least this keeps the dust and water from going into your ports. On the left side, you got your volume up and down. On the top, you got your IR blaster, you got your headphone jack. And on the back, you got your 16 megapixel camera, you got your LED flash, and you got your heart rate monitor. That's those two little dots right there. So when you activate the S Health, you just put your finger on it right here, and this will take your pulse. Now, to me personally, that's kind of gimmicky. A lot of people don't know that if you got a flash on your camera, there's a whole bunch of apps in the market. I used to use those years ago. A whole bunch of apps that'll take your heart rate and all that, but they all kind of gimmicky, all kind of silly. I don't know. I don't really use that kind of stuff, but you might want to use it. On the front, you got your 2 megapixel camera. You got your sensors. On the bottom, now you got these are touch capacitive buttons. You got your recently used apps button. You got your back button, and you got your home button. Okay, so the home button is the only physical button. These are touch capacitive on the right and the left. Now, like I was saying about the back of the phone, when I first seen this, a couple of weeks ago in the demos and all of that, I really wasn't feeling the back too much. But after holding it and playing with it for a while, the back kind of grew on me. I'm definitely feeling the back now, especially if you got a Galaxy Note 3. That leather back kind of feels nice. It just gives it that more premium feel to it. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't have the stitching like the Galaxy Note 3, but it has these little dots. So we call it the dot back. Now, this kind of helps because anybody who had a Galaxy S4, you realize how slippery this back was, which made it one of the slipperiest phones out. Now, at least with this back, you have a little bit more grip. So I'm definitely digging that. Now, let's turn the phone on. Keep in mind now, one thing I forgot to mention, in the home button, you got your fingerprint scanner. Now, one thing I will say about the fingerprint scanner, now keep in mind, this is not a full review. This is just my initial, unboxing, first impressions, whatever you want to call it. So I haven't really mastered how to use all this stuff, just yet. But just my first impressions, the fingerprint scanner doesn't really work that great. Okay, that's just my first impressions. Let's try to see if we could get it to open up. Okay, we got it on the first try, which is pretty good because I've been using it all day, all night, and it really works maybe 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 times. A lot of times I got to swipe it over and over and over and then put my passcode in. So is that kind of gimmicky? Yes. Not like the iPhone 5 that has a pretty much 90% rate of the fingerprint scanner. The HTC One Max, I give it a 75% rate. So far right now I'm giving this maybe 50%. But like I said, this is just my first impression, so I haven't really played with it. Haven't really set it up at all the different angles to see which is the most comfortable for me. So right now I'm giving it a 50-50. As far as the phone itself, it's still running the TouchWiz, which is kind of a revamped version of TouchWiz that kind of looks like Tizen, kind of looks, more toned down. It's not as heavy. But the phone itself, I gotta admit, it's not as smooth as something like the HTC One, the M8. It just still feels a little bit slower. Now, don't get me wrong, there's no lag on it. One thing I will say about Samsung's My Magazine, now, what you're gonna wanna do, I know what I'm going to do. After a while, I'm going to turn this feature off. Now, you don't have to have this on. You can turn this off. I'm going to turn this off after a while because I notice it runs kind of slow and it's a little bit annoying. You see, when you swipe, it's a little bit of a delay, not too much. Now, people are going to complain and say, well, that's nothing. You swiped and it went over. But when you get used to using phones like the HTC M8 and you swipe and boom, it's right there, you kind of miss that. Now, I will go to the animations and turn the scale and then turn everything down for the real review. Right now, like I said, this is just initial impressions right out the box. One thing I will say that I like that they did add, though, was this feature called the toolbar. Now, on any screen I'm at, you see you got this little button right here. When you press that button, now you can customize it to any way you want. The stock feature is the camera, the web, the voice memo, the calendar, and the calculator. Those are stuff that you use all the time. So no matter which page I'm on, I'm always going to have that little button, and you can move it to wherever you want. You can put it on this side if you want, and you got your toolbar. So that's one of the changes right there. I'm definitely feeling that. When you look down at the power buttons and all that, everything is more smooth. Everything is more like simple compared to the regular TouchWiz. So it looks a little bit more user-friendly. Okay, now I got this connected to my Galaxy Gear 2. Works fine. Works with your Galaxy Gear. The regular one, no problem at all. No lag through the phone. Now, instead of getting all the multi-windows, it just goes to the side like that. That was one of the things I hated about the Samsung phones. When you pinch in, it's always that delay and that little bit of a lag. So now it seems like they took care of that. It's running a lot smoother now. Now, you could change these animations. I got it set to the, overlap like that, but you could change that if you want. And everybody knows you could drop a whole bunch of third-party apps like ADW launcher and all these other, different kind of launchers if you just want more fancy stuff. But fresh out the box, I see no lag on it. The only lag I've seen so far is on this magazine UX, My Magazine, which is similar to Flipboard. So no reason to go download Flipboard now. But it's just, I hate that little transition right there. As far as the camera and stuff, I took a few pictures. We'll get into that. I'll do a camera test again. But the camera on this is banging. All right, everybody knows Samsung makes great cameras. When you use their camera, you got a whole bunch of features. This camera is the same way. When you go into the camera mode, you get so many features on this. It takes beautiful pictures. The burst shot is amazing. If you're one of those people that like to use burst shot is amazing on this camera. Takes beautiful pictures. Real simple, one button, point and shoot. Beautiful. So we'll do the camera test and see for ourselves. But if you ever use a Samsung phone, Samsung likes to have a whole bunch of features and options. Some stuff that people call gimmicky, which I tend to agree on. Some of the stuff is kind of gimmicky. But for $700, I want all of the features. I want to have the choice to whether turn them on and off, use them or not use them. I'd rather have them and not use them than not have them and want them and see somebody else using it. Even if it's just for one day, I might not never use this heart rate sensor, but it's good to have one day. So when you're sitting around with your friends and everybody's talking shit, somebody pull out the HTC M8 and y'all going back and forth about whose phone is better, which phone could do this and that. Well, you got the heart rate monitor on this. So that's an automatic plus right there. Now, just for fun, let's do a size comparison with some of the other phones that's out right now. Now, Galaxy S4, pretty much the same size. If you look at the difference. Now, that's the thing. A lot of people are going to say, what's the difference between the Galaxy S4 and the Galaxy S5? Not too much. All right, so the Galaxy S4 is pretty much the same as the Galaxy S5, just with a little bit of less features. Now, another thing, a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, that's kind of whack. I'm going to wait for the Galaxy S6. It's not too much of an upgrade from the S4 and the S5. Well, y'all got to remember that the S4 literally came out a year ago. Not even a full year ago, and now we already got the next version. So you're not really going to see over-the-top, crazy, you know, add-ons and additions. It's not going to go from a, you know, 2.5 gigahertz to 3.9 gigahertz in 1 year. It's not going to do that. So you're getting minor upgrades, but some of the upgrades are worth it. Like the faster CPU, the better battery that I didn't even talk about. You got a 2800 milliamp battery compared to 2600 on the S4. So you got a better battery, better camera, better CPU, more features. The phone is bigger. So now, whether you want to call that an upgrade or not, in my book, I call that an upgrade. When you got 5 different features that have been upgraded since the previous version, that's called an upgrade. Okay, it might be a minor upgrade, but it's still an upgrade. Now, when you compare them side by side, you see both got the volume still on the same side. On the bottom, you still got your ports. Your micro USB, your 3.0 still on the bottom, still got the same mics. Power button still in the same spot. Only difference is on the top. Now the headphone jack is on the left instead of the right. Okay, so the headphone jack on the S4 is on the left. Now it's on the right on the S5. S-Voice, everything still works the same. Like I said, it's pretty much the S5. The S4 and the S5 are pretty much the same. This is just like when you had the Apple, the iPhone 5, and the 5S. Minor upgrades, but enough upgrades to make it the new flagship. Now, let's see. Compared to the M8, it's a little bit bigger than the M8, but the M8 is killing it with the build. Now, if you're one of those people that like build quality, then there's no competition. I'm gonna tell you off top, get the M8. All right, both of these phones run just as smooth. The S5, as far as web browsing and all that, we'll get into that in the real review. The S5's, I feel like it runs a little bit smoother and faster. Okay, let me change that. Not necessarily smoother, just a little bit faster with the loading times and shit like that. But overall, if I had to choose right now between the S5 and the M8, now I'm a build quality kind of guy, and I'm also a kind of guy that likes the speakers on the front. So I would choose the M8 right now, just off the top on the head-to-head. But this is not a, there's not a head-to-head comparison yet because we didn't even do the real review for this one yet. So we'll save that for later. As far as size comparisons with something like the HTC One Max, it's still a lot smaller, and it's still a lot smaller than your Galaxy Note 3. But it is bigger than your Galaxy S4. As far as in the hand, weight-wise, though, weighs about the same. I'm not going by numbers and all that. Just, putting them both in your hand, pretty much weigh the same. But the S5, I'm definitely feeling the build better than the S4. This one is more round. This has a kind of more squarish look to it. And this one also has the ridges on the side. I don't know if you can see that. It has the ridges and the metal on the side as opposed to just the smooth brush metal. So the ridges just give it more grip. All in all, that's pretty much one of the main differences between the S5 and the S4. As far as build goes, you get more grip, and it's a lot, it just feels better in the hand without that extra smooth, extra slippery back. Now, everybody knows we're going to put cases on these and all that, so after a while, that won't really matter when you're outside and you're at work and you're doing your thing. But in the house, when you like to have your phones raw dog with no case, then the build quality comes into play, and I like how it feels. And it definitely complements your Galaxy Note. If you got a Galaxy Note, it's definitely going to complement it. They look nice together. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what should you get? The Note 3 or should you get the S5? Well, without even doing a full review on the S5, I would say get the Note 3. Both of them seem to run exactly the same smoothness and exactly the same speed and all of that. But with the Note 3, you get the S Pen, which is the almighty equalizer. You get a bigger battery. You know what I'm saying? You get a bigger display. So I would just say go with the Note 3 if you want, just for the S Pen alone. Now, we could talk about feature to feature and all that other stuff, but the main feature between these two phones is the S Pen. The S Pen on this, especially if you use your S Pen, the S Pen on this, you'll be satisfied. So all y'all cats that got the Note 3, don't feel disappointed because you didn't wait for the S5. Same phone. All right? Same exact phone, but actually you got a better phone because you got the S Pen. That's my personal opinion. Now, as far as S5 versus iPhone and all this other stuff, look, I didn't even bring out the iPhone right now because there's no reason to do size comparisons with the iPhone. Everybody knows the iPhone is mad small. All right, so just put like a pack of gum or something next to it, and that's the size comparison with the S5 and the iPhone 5S. All right, so all in all, first impressions out the box on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving this a 9. Same rating I gave the HTC M8. I'm giving it a 9 fresh out the box. One thing I will say that I'm not feeling, though, is that fingerprint scanner is pretty gimmicky. Of course, you don't need to use it. You can turn it off if you want. But when you see other technology that's out and it works, like the iPhone 5S, and it has the fingerprint scanner that works pretty much 90% of the time, then you wonder why other companies can't get theirs to work 90% of the time. Now, I hear people saying, like I said, people saying the HTC One, the Max, oh, it works 100% for for them and all that. Whatever. For me, it doesn't work 100% of the time. And I'm not talking about pulling the phone out of your pocket and going like this in slow motion to make sure it works. Nobody's going to do that. When you're sitting at the red light and you're getting an email alert and you just want to, briefly look at your phone while you parked or something, or, while you're in the elevator, you just want to quickly pull out your phone and check a message. You just want to pull out the phone and open it up. You don't want to be going like this, man, slow and 100% right. If you have one piece of grease or, one chicken crumb on your fingertip from earlier, it ain't going to work. No, you don't want to do that. With the iPhone, you press the button and it works. So I would have liked to have seen that. All in all, though, the phone is a win. It's definitely a go. Like I said, the back of it grew on me, so now I'm kind of feeling this part right here. I'm interested to see some of the new cases coming out. I do got a few cases on deck, and y'all already know we're going to do all the cases. We're going to do all the accessories. We're going to get into all that stuff in the next couple of days, all right? Now, before I get out of here, one more thing I was about to mention that just slipped my mind, but I'll think about that later. Oh, Galaxy Gear 2. We're going to get into the Galaxy Gear 2 in a minute, so let's check this one out next. All right? Shout out to everybody that rock with me on Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Google+. Shout out to all the Google gangsters. I see y'all holding down that Facebook page. Shout out to everybody hitting me up on Voxer. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with me on Instagram. Y'all know that's where I'm at full time, 100% full throttle. It's your boy Floss. I'm going to catch up with y'all in the next trip. All y'all haters, all y'all trolls, go eat a fucking dick. It's your boy Floss. I'm out. Deuces.